risk management tool. So let's get into this. And by the way, if you would, Scott, go ahead and post the first polling question here in the next minute or so, I'd appreciate it.
Let me go ahead and launch that now, if that's all right. We have a lot, and I just want to get them in pace. So we have one, and we'll make this one really short because we do have a number of polls. And this is just to get a good sense from the audience as to your level of understanding of captives, and we have a vast majority saying all the above.
Great, great. And which all the above is probably the best response here as we go through. A lot of people, as I mentioned earlier, look at these small, mid-sized captives primarily as tax savings, but obviously they have to have a legitimate business purpose. So interesting that the second most popular response is tax savings, then risk management. But at the end of the day, it is going to be risk management first and foremost, followed by probably some tax savings, probably being the next best answer. With that, let's talk about broadly, what is a captive insurance company? Well, a captive insurance company is, like the name implies, it's captive to the business. So this is an insurance company for the business's risk. You pay premium to it in return for coverage. The captive can be owned in a variety of ways, which we'll talk later on. But ultimately, the business owner who is setting up this captive is getting into the insurance business. The captive is going to be regulated in a variety of domiciles. There are over 35 different domiciles just onshore. Some of the more recent domiciles, North Carolina, Florida, they just became domiciles in the past year. And there's also a plethora of offshore domiciles. That's really where the captive industry started in Bermuda, Cayman Islands, over the last 50, 60 years ago. Our role here at Atlas, what do we do in the transaction? Our goal here is to form and operate the captive. That's what a captive manager does.
I'm sorry to interrupt you again. That's not my goal, but we did lose your PowerPoint slide, so I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter again so we can get that back.
Okay.
And that's just a glitch in GoToWebinar. So sorry about that, but let's try one more time.
Great.
Thanks. We're good. I'm done. I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Scott. So
Scott, I have not regained my the PowerPoint. I'm still on the connected to GoToWebinar. Is there something I should be doing here? I'm not.
We have no other recorded issues, so yeah, I think we're okay.
There it is. Okay, I just clicked on the icon down at the bottom, and it came back on. Great. Thank you. Sorry.
All right. So, why has captive insurance gotten so popular over the last 60, 70 years ago? Well, obviously, there's a lot of profits here. If you look, what do insurance companies do? Well, they're sponsoring sports teams. They sponsor Ronaldo's old team at Manchester United, tying into the World Cup here. Big buildings, stadiums. So insurance is innately a very profitable thing, and that's why over the last 60, 70 years, over 80% of Fortune 500 companies have decided to get into the captive insurance business because they understand if they can manage their losses well, then they can keep those profits themselves. And in fact, over the last couple decades, we went from only a couple hundred captives, maybe 1,000 or 2 captives back in the early 90s, to well over 6,000 to 10,000 captives today. So this has gotten increasingly popular primarily because of the growth for small and mid-sized customers.
I would suggest, Brian, there's a reason why Warren Buffett owns an insurance company. I think I need to say no more.
Well, right. That's right. Very